Hello, 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 my spiritual hygiene community. That's what I'm calling you. Spiritual hygiene community. Welcome back to our next reading, and I hope you guys are well today. I am coming a day in advance to get this out of the way. I usually record it on Sunday, but I'm recording it on Saturday just to get it out of the way so I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. I hope you guys are well. I know there's a lot going on today. Today is for many a holiday. It's just, everyday day for me. However, I did cook, and I'm having some little treats. I don't know if you guys know about Fever Tree ginger beer. It's non-alcoholic. It's actually made of real ginger. It's a little spicy. It gives a little kick. It's actually very healthy for you. This one is blood orange, Italian blood orange, and it's pretty interesting. It has about 35 calories. It's actually rather sweet for me though. Fever Tree actually has a really good line of healthy drinks. I know they have one with quinone in it. Quinone is actually going to be very good and beneficial for building up your immune system. That actually is really good for blocking certain things out. There's like something very potent in quinone. You don't get it in a lot of foods. And so, but they have a line of drinks that actually provide that particular ingredient in it. And so, yeah, I am just enjoying my day today. I hope you guys are well. And so we are here for this in this capacity. Spiritual hygiene, Ayan Levanzant. Last week was a little bit, it was short, but it was heavy. Don't you agree? I think last week was pretty heavy. Your no is your compass. Saying no, having the power and the inner strength and the wherewithal to set healthy boundaries, the sacred no. This was a powerful lesson, and it was really short. It was like a couple of pages long, but this I feel like is one of the things that will help us to really implement and maintain our spiritual hygiene. We have to be able to say no. That's a must. It is non-negotiable because without having the power to say no, we have no protection. We have no way to position ourselves to maintain spiritual hygiene because there's no guard, right? Spiritual hygiene actually requires us to be gatekeepers, right? Y'all know what a gatekeeper is, right? Many times we depend on others in certain circumstances to be gatekeepers for us, but this requires for us to be the gatekeeper. Okay. Not people may not like it, and that's okay. As I say many times, like those who are called to you will understand. And those who set healthy boundaries will understand. It'll be just like, I get it. You don't even have to say anything. I get it. I'm there. And so last week's message was it was kind of heavy. There was a part of that was resonating with my personal experience right now as well. And so I think that was right on time. But as we end that, you can go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. It was very short. All of those videos in the playlist of spiritual hygiene are free. So you can go back and watch any of them. So if you didn't see last week, so you can go back and do that. This week we are ending level 3. This is the conclusion to level 3, and it introduces us to level 4. And so this little excerpt, it's like a few pages long, so it's going to be really short. It's called The Sacred Return. That's what this whole level was about, returning home to self. Now that we've cleansed, now that we understand the dynamics and the requirements of maintaining and accomplishing what we have learned to be spiritual hygiene, it takes a lot of work, like to institute that and position ourselves and to get to a place where we can actually stand in that. And it's going to take that much more to maintain it. Right now that we've gotten there, now this is all about, coming back home and getting back in position. And once we get back in position, now we need to know how to maintain that position. Right. And so the sacred return is the ending of level 3, a reclamation of self. That's what we've been talking about this whole level 3 long, is coming home to self, reclaiming the sacred self, what that looks like, what needs to be released so that we can do that, what needs to be cleansed and understood and recognized, how to even realize whether or not we need to come home, that we've been separated, you know? And so I'm going to go ahead and start with a prayer. It's going to be the same prayer as last week because this is an extension of last week's lesson. But last week was so heavy, I just wanted to end it there. And so let's begin. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led. This station is Blood Moon Oracle, but right now we're in a different capacity. And my name is Leticia. And so let's begin. Our opening meditation says, Holy Presence, guardian of my breath, keeper of my becoming, I come to this threshold ready to remember that no is not a weapon. It is a way home. I have said yes when my body trembled. In the past, I have said yes to be loved, to be safe, to belong. I have said yes when my truth was whispering otherwise. But now I choose to belong to myself. Teach me holiness of refusal. Let my no be anointed in wisdom. Let it rise from the deepest parts of me without defense as devotion. When I say no, let it be from reverence. When I say no, let it cleanse what is not mine. When I say no, let it close the doors that lead me away from my wholeness. I give myself permission to protect my sacred interior. I give myself permission to withdraw from what depletes me, without guilt, without shame, without apology. May this chapter be a sanctuary of reclamation. May I trust that every no I speak as my truth makes space for a more holy, whole, embodied yes. I ask, I allow, I become. Amen, Ashe, Ao, and so it is. All right. Take a sip of my ginger beer. So good. So the sacred return, a reclamation of self. You have walked through the threshold of reclamation as one choosing to return to the altar of your being with new eyes and steady hands. Level 3 has not asked you to become something new, hasn't asked you to change or mold, contort yourself into something other than what you are. It has asked you to remember who you were before the world taught you to forget. You began this portion of the journey with spiritual responsibility, a sacred duty to care for, cultivate, and align your inner life, mind, heart, body, and soul with divine truth. This is a call to stop outsourcing your healing and to reclaim the stewardship of your energy, your choices, and your presence. You were invited to stop pretending to be whole and begin living it. You were reminded that being responsible for your internal and external self is a form of empowerment. It is a way you rise as a vessel of sacred integrity. Then came the invitation to find your center, that still, holy ground within you that cannot be shaken by chaos, performance, or praise. Your center is not a location, it is a rhythm, a frequency, a remembering. You learn that good spiritual hygiene is not about looking clean. It's about staying close to what is real. It's not even about being perfect. It's about staying close to what is real, okay? You explored the patterns of misalignment and spiritual neglect. Those silent accumulations that leave residue in your soul. You face the emotional litter of spiritual bypassing, numbing, overgiving, and hiding. You learn to stop mistaking numbness for peace and begin to honor the sacred task of clearing out what no longer belongs in your temple. Then, with gentle guidance, you were led to the well of your spiritual core, the place where truth is not filtered through fear or upbringing, the place it emerges in you and through you, raw and radiant. You named it, you sat with it, you heard its language again. Your spiritual core does not demand perfection. It asks for honesty. It is the compass of your sovereignty. You bowed in reverence to somatic stewardship, the wisdom of the body as a sacred altar. You learn that your nervous system remembers what the mind forgets. That embodiment is not aesthetic. It is a holy act of presence. You relearned your rhythms. You reclaimed your right to rest, pause, to move in harmony with the divine pulse within you. Finally, you receive the blessing of the sacred no, a return to the core. You dismantled the illusion that love requires self-abandonment. You met the ancestral pattern of over-accommodation and offered it compassion with continuation. Your no became your compass, your prayer, your realignment. It cleared the dust. It carved the path. These chapters were not steps. They were spirals, right? Healing is not linear, right? It's untrackable, unplannable, right? It is lived and embodied in the moment. Each one returning you to deeper levels of self-trust, clarity, embodiment, and devotion. Reclaiming does not always look like fire. Sometimes it is the quiet exhale of a woman who no longer betrays herself. Sometimes it is the steady pulse of a man who knows that softness is not weakness. It is wisdom. You are not who you were when this journey began. You are now one who knows what it feels like to belong to yourself, who speaks the language of alignment over approval, who chooses peace over performance, who honors your energy as a sacred resource, who refuses to decorate dysfunction and call it love, and who lives from the throne of your inner authority. Okay? This is reclamation. Not the noise of taking your power back. It is the stillness of remembering that it was never truly gone. It was buried, forgotten, dimmed, but never destroyed. And now, beloved, you are ready for the final unfolding. Clean living with spiritual hygiene. What does it mean to live clean? That's a great question. Let's think about that. What does it mean to live clean? While I'm sipping on my ginger beer. Not that it's non-alcoholic, right? That doesn't mean that I'm living clean. I drink wine too. I love wine. That doesn't mean I'm living clean. What does it mean to live clean? It's more than just ritual, more than intention, more than knowledge, what we know. To live clean is to walk in agreement with your soul. Forget about all those external rules and regulations we've been given through, all of these systems that man has made. Living clean means to walk in agreement with your soul. It's personal to you. It is to let your breath, your body, your boundaries, and your belief become sacred instruments of alignment to keep you in connection and aligned with your soul. It is to bring heaven, which is a state of mind, into habit. It is to choose, consciously choose integrity, not only when it's easy, but especially when it's inconvenient. That's when it matters most. It is to keep your altar swept, your mind quiet, your heart open, and your soul aligned. You have reclaimed your center. Now you must live from it. Live from that place that we just talked about, that we just learned about. Okay. You have remembered your voice. Now you speak with it. You have entered your core. Now you must choose it. The final chapter is not an ending. It is your sacred beginning. So we will enter this together with clean hands, open hearts, and a holy breath, right? Make no mistake about it. And I don't know, for whoever's joining today, whatever it is that's happening right now, wherever you are right now, make no mistake about it. Like, it is exactly where we need to be right now. And wherever that is, has very specific lessons that we are learning right now in this moment that is very applicable to what's coming next. So it's very important, I hear Spirit saying, to pay attention and to be engaged so we don't miss it. I don't know about you, but I don't like repeating lessons or cycles unnecessarily. Now, if I know I didn't pay attention in class and I missed something, okay, let me go back around. But unnecessarily, like, time, as we learned, is a resource, a valuable resource that too many times we take for granted. Like, if there's no need to go back through it again, why should we, when we can pass the first time? And I know sometimes we can't help it. It's only until we become conscious of it can we pay attention to the need for the lesson and what we've learned. But if we are conscious of it and we are purposefully choosing to repeat lessons, that's what I'm talking about. And so wherever we are today, whatever the situation is, it's purposeful right now. What are we learning right now in the lesson right now? What is the lesson being taught, and what are we receiving from that lesson? Because whatever it is, it's preparing us for where we're about to go, whatever that is. And it's personal for each of us. We don't travel in cliques, though we like to hang in them, but we all are on our own path. And that's why it's necessary for us to understand, what it means to be an individual, right? To know and to understand our authority that we've been given and our own alignment with our path, with our own soul, so that we can move from that place, choose from that place. That's what we're talking about, clean living, being very much attached and operating from the center of our being. Some would call it the seat of the soul. Yeah. And so that's what it is right now. Before we go into our next chapter, chapter 16, we'll start that next week. And I'm going to allow that to sit right there. This was a very powerful ending to the level 3. And I was on a walk last week too. Before I end this, I just want to add, if Spirit wants me to repost, there was a video that I did, and it was about Spirit. I was on a walk, and Spirit was telling me we need to repost this particular chapter. The voice of trauma splinters into survival cells. I'm not sure who that's for, I'm not sure why I'm being asked to repost it, but instead of going into the next lesson, I've been instructed to repost that chapter. And so I will see you guys next week with our chapter 16. In the meantime, I am being instructed or guided to post chapter 4, which talks about the voice of trauma that splinters into survival cells. And so I will see you guys next week. Okay. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Leticia, and as always, it's a pleasure. All honor and appreciation go out to our sister, Iyanla Vanzant. You can pick up her book at Barnes and Nobles if you are on a healing journey, or maybe you're interested in spiritual hygiene, or just trying to come to a place where you are able to engage intentionally on your spiritual path, your practical or spiritual path, for what we just talked about, clean living, right? It has nothing to do with the outside in this sense. We're talking about you being connected to your core and being aligned, right? Or you could be looking to tap into your own inner authority or divine freedom, right? That's what we're talking about here. Those three concepts is really what this is really rooted around when we talk about spiritual hygiene. And so you don't have to be spiritual. I don't feel like you have to be religious. I don't even feel like you have to even have a certain belief to have this book be applicable or helpful. This is all about creating a level of peace, not only for your walk in this lifetime, but also within yourself. And so it really is for anybody. You can probably pick it up at Barnes and Noble. It's about $30, $25, $30. You could probably order it off Google. I don't know if it would be cheaper, but this is definitely a treasure. Okay. So thankful for my sister. She's a godsend. So as I always do, I'm sending, energy, love, and appreciation towards her for her sacrifice and for living out her conviction, right? Because we get to benefit from her experience because she has been so humbly graced to allow us to do that. And so with that being said, we're going to say good evening, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and get ready for next week. And so we will see you all next time, okay? All right. Thanks for stopping by. My name's Leticia.